YouTube changed, and suddenly our humble channel is at risk of no longer being viable. You might have seen similar topics pop up in recent weeks from other YouTube channels, but for some reason, it really is even worse for Inside Games. Will we be brave enough to continue reporting gaming news when nobody's watching?
I mean, I will. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out for the rest of the world. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to trivialize anything, but if you've been on YouTube for any length of time, you've probably heard similar histrionics from creators in the past. Honestly, it's a pretty good narrative to kind of like wake people up and get ahead a little bit. But Bruce and I, we've been on this platform professionally for over 15 years now. We don't really play the drama game much, and this is genuinely a first for both of us. So this is a big deal.
That is correct. We're going to go through all of the data and talk to you about this, but I do want to say at the top, we don't have the best explanation for why it happened. We could just see that it happened. So just so you're aware. Yeah, and we really do love this work. That's why we continue doing it. We've been doing it for years and years and years. And since you're watching this, thank you, number one. And number two, this will affect the content that you watch and how it's made. Not only our channels, but lots of other channels that are struggling to figure out why this happened. So in this video, we're going to cover the news, share data points from our own channels, and then speculate about what it could mean for the future of YouTube content.
That's right. This isn't only a membership drive, although we'll get there. But yeah, first the news. All right. So yeah, many YouTube channels over the past month have noticed their view counts drastically falling off a cliff at the beginning of August. It was very noticeable for us in both the channels we operate. Early speculation suggested that YouTube's new AI age detection might have quietly enabled restricted mode for viewers, suppressing video recommendations. But now it seems like enough creators have compared notes and data and have developed visibility on a certain trend that leads to a new theory.
Yeah, another common explanation of the issue is that the drop-off was simply seasonal. We're going to poke holes in this immediately, but between back to school, football season starting up, fall events, dragging people away from their beloved YouTube videos.
Yeah, but like we said in the intro, we're very familiar with seasonal trends, and this is so much more drastic than anything we've seen.
YouTube creator Josh Strife Hayes compared a trend with over 80 other YouTube channels, and all showed similar symptoms. Josh did a fantastic job here. This is awesome.
Yeah, what's weird is even though viewership dropped significantly for all these channels beginning basically August 10th, like there's a pretty hard date on it, most channels didn't see a drop in advertising revenue, which is a shame. I would love for our channel to be in that situation, and that's why, for some reason, we're being flamed harder than anything else right now.
Digging further into the metrics, many channels noticed that suddenly on August 10th, the amount of views coming from desktop platforms drastically fell off.
Yeah, basically the ratio of platforms contributing viewership shuffled around. Cellular News saw their viewership flip from 56% of viewers on desktop, making it the majority, to just 39.3% after August.
That's a pretty sizable jump on just a random date in August. A recent support article from YouTube insists that restricted mode is not causing a drop in views, but suggests a few other factors. This is directly from YouTube. Most notably, the article suggests that, quote, ad blockers and other extensions can impact the accuracy of reported view counts. Channels whose audiences include a higher proportion of users utilizing such tools, ad blockers, may see more fluctuations in traffic related to updates to these tools.
That's ominous, but that was listed as one suggestion among many. One of them being like, maybe you just did abnormally well last month and you didn't think about that. So thank you, YouTube. Yeah. This particular theory, the ad blocker theory, seems to explain the sudden shift in behavior. Josh Strife Hayes also links this suggestion with a correlating event on or around August 11th. Basically, YouTube would no longer load at all for users of AdBlock Plus on desktop browsers. It even led to a spike in people searching his YouTube down. So it was a pretty notable event.
Yeah, this is good investigative work. The theory that seems to explain the sudden shift in behavior is that ad-blocked views are no longer being reported as views by YouTube, or those using ad blockers are unable to even watch those videos in the first place.
Yeah, maybe a bunch of people using ad blockers tried to get to YouTube, couldn't, and decided to do something maybe a little more productive with their time, which we're dead set against that, by the way. We're about video games here. Another correlating factor, again, YouTube suggested this themselves. It does stand to reason that older audiences watching on PC desktops would be more likely to install ad blockers versus viewers on mobile platforms. And then specifically for us, you know, we talk a lot about PC here. We talk a lot about business. We talk about adult stuff. And we've been doing this for long enough that our audience has probably aged up with us a bit.
It's true. While it sucks to see view counts dropping off a cliff, we really do. Inside Games seems to be affected worse than others. So because while other channels haven't seen a drop in revenue, we really absolutely have, and it's bad. So we have some stats on that.
Yeah, Bruce did a lot of research. I mean, Bruce lives in our metrics constantly. He loves analyzing trends and looking at data and trying to find ways to optimize the way that we do our business here. So he's had visibility on this for a while now, and you've been looking for something to explain this because you noticed it pretty much right away, right?
I noticed it literally right away. And just to give you a little background on me, I've been doing this for about 10 years, meaning managing channels and analyzing analytics on YouTube for about 10 years across like Funhouse, and I think I did it for the Know a while, and I did it for Inside Gaming, and I've done it for all my personal channels, and obviously I do it for Inside Games and brought you this thing. So like I've been doing it a long time, and this is something I've literally never seen. It's very important to note that I've never seen this, not only a drop off like this on our channels, but across a lot of YouTube. That's a very important trend here, which is all of a sudden everything just crashed. That never happens on YouTube. All right, so let's start with July 2025 for Inside Games. We had 1.1 million views across the whole month. And then August of 2025 had 525,000 views. That is a 52% drop off in views from July to August. September is not complete yet, obviously, but it is on track for even lower views for the month. It's probably going to end up being consistent with August. So July was sort of the last time we saw pretty good view counts, and we were growing, and we've been uploading 5 days a week since I think March. So we've really done a good job over here of trying to give you guys as much content as we can. That drop off from July to August was massive. And then for our revenue, July revenue to August revenue, there was a 41% drop in revenue. So the views obviously dropped 52%, but the 41% drop in revenue is huge. I cannot tell you how scary that was to see. And I was like, well, maybe it'll normalize. I tried to give it a little bit and was like, well, maybe it'll fix itself. And a lot of other channels that we were reporting on did not see a drop like that. They may have seen a 10 or 20% drop, which is still very bad, by the way. The 41% drop in revenue from July to August is huge. So now you kind of know where we're standing, and this is just for 2025. Now, also, we can report on where people are watching, because I know this is another thing that we were talking about. I was like, well, maybe like we have 50% of our people are on PC. We don't actually know. We do. We can go look at the analytics. July had 27% of our audience watching on PC. August has 21% on PC. And then September also has 21% on PC. So there's only a little bit of there's like 6% drop in people watching on PC. And then the other, whatever, 70-80% of people watching, there's mobile phones, they're watching their TV or their tablet, that sort of thing. Those you can't usually ad block. There aren't usually ad blockers for those platforms. On PC, there absolutely are. But our audience really is, 20 to 30% on PC. So technically speaking, we don't necessarily fit into the data that we reported on before, which is interesting because I was like, oh, I'm going to go look and I'll bet half of our audience is watching on PC. And that's not the case. So that's why it's even weirder that our channel dropped in views and revenue so drastically, even though 20 to 30% of our audience is on PC.
Yeah, I've been trying to workshop this. I've been theory crafting, and it's difficult to come up with a theory that matches what other channels are experiencing, but also explains why we've been disproportionately affected. And yeah, even down into the data, the effect seems disproportionate. We didn't see the massive drop off in PC viewership that say like Bellular News did, but somehow our views and especially revenue disproportionately affected. So I struggle to come up with something that could explain that. All I can guess is that it relates to the mythical algorithmic way that YouTube sorts and promotes videos. So perhaps our most dedicated and important viewer block, the people that come in and watch the video in totality as soon as it's uploaded and kind of tell the YouTube monolith that this video has interest and people enjoy watching it. Maybe all of our ad blocking viewers are disproportionately focused right at the beginning. And if those 5,000-10,000 viewers aren't counted or can't watch it right away, then it just tells YouTube that there's not much interest in this video, and then it doesn't get recommended to the tens of thousands of people that would have watched it and seen an ad if they had, which is extremely painful, more than ever. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how we find that data, or if there's any way to, but. Yeah, it sucks. Regardless of the academics of it, this is a really bad situation to be in. And to also to kind of attack the seasonality of it, we also compared this region of time with years in the past. Because if it is seasonal, maybe we've seen a similar depression in August, and maybe this year is just, especially bad for other factors. Who knows? But we didn't find that trend either. It seems entirely localized this year and this August, and it's super bad.
So here are some stats for our Inside Games. We'll start with 2025 this year. In July of 2025, we had 1.1 million views across the month and across 23 uploads, 23 videos we uploaded. In August of 2025, we had 525,000 views across 18 uploads. And then in September of 2025, which is not complete, obviously, we had 293,000 views across 11 uploads. So if you're keeping track, it's about a 52% drop off in views from July to August. Now we uploaded a little less, a few videos less, but a 50% drop off to views for 5 less uploads has never made sense, and that will never make sense. Also, July revenue, August revenue dropped 41%. So again, we uploaded a little less, but a 40% drop in revenue from July to August is just absolutely unheard of. In most cases, if we uploaded 5 videos less from July to August, I would have seen a 10% drop off in views, maybe 10% drop off in revenue. Not much. Not 50% drop off in views, 40% drop off in revenue. That's crazy. And here's July of 2024. We had 387,000 views across 7 uploads for the month. And then August of 2024 had 398,000 views across 8 uploads for the month. And then September of 2024 had 448,000 views across 9 uploads for the month. So the views are going up. We're uploading, what, 1 more video per month or whatever. The views are going up pretty good. Just so you know, anecdotally, this seasonal drop-off is all bullshit. That doesn't happen until generally October or November, usually. I keep track of this stuff. So in August and September, I have never seen a seasonal drop-off on YouTube. So maybe the seasonal drop-off moved up? That doesn't make any sense because I've been doing it for so long that I've never seen it. Either way, and also, oh yeah, I didn't talk about revenue for 2024. That was going up the whole time. It literally starts lower in July, and then it has approximately a 15 to 20% increase across August and September of 2024. So revenue and views did not go down in 2024 across July, August, and September. Same for 2023. July 2023, we had 263,000 views for the month across 6 uploads. August of 2023, we had 400,000 views across 8 uploads. And then September, we had 294,000 views across 7 uploads. This July to September in 2023, there's again a little bit more of a variance, but not too much. We uploaded a little less in July, a little more in August, and then right down the middle of September. And everything sort of aligns. The revenue and the views all sort of align for how many times we uploaded. Again, not really a drop-off. That's more of just a consistent line. And then even in 2024, we saw a bump. And in 2023, it's more of a straight line. No drop-off. Not anywhere near what YouTube is describing. And I also did, because we have this other channel that we can compare, Brought You This Thing. I also saw exactly the same drop-off at the beginning of August. Percentage-wise, it was a little less, but the drop-off was there. So I compared June, July, August, September. There's a reason, and I'll explain why. But June of 2025, we had 700,000 views across 4 uploads. In July of 2025, we had 800,000 views across 5 uploads, but we had a Ban Margera video that did really well. So you kind of throw that out, to be honest. Generally throw out the exceptions. And then in August, we had 583,000 views across 5 uploads. So if you're keeping track, from June and July to August, that's about a 30% drop off in views for exactly the same amount of uploads. And then in September of 2025, which again is not complete, we had 225,000 views across 2 uploads. So September is shaping up for Bright This Thing to not be good. Generally speaking, whatever that drop off was in August, that is now the new baseline for Inside Games and for Bright This Thing. I haven't seen it recover yet. It's been about a month and a half. And like I told Lawrence, I don't want to panic. So I just sort of was like, well, I'll just wait it out. Let's just see what happens. And now that I'm starting to see all of these other YouTube channels talk about this, now it's starting to get a little scary. Because all the work and growth that we've had on these 2 channels, and we've been really trying to grow them and do what YouTube wants us to do, which is upload, is now not working. And they're punishing us for something, but we don't know why or how.
Yeah, that's what makes it frustrating and challenging to figure out how to make this work as a business for everybody that works on this thing, because it's not just us and our insatiable avarice for YouTube cash, which is harder than ever to grab. There's ricochet effects here. One is that like I kind of alluded to, fewer people see our videos in general, but a lower view count. Even if our ad revenue on YouTube had stayed the same, it deeply affects our ability to negotiate ad rates with advertisers when we place ads on our shows. So, and that can go even down to just no interest at all. We had just worked ourselves up into a certain viewership where suddenly we were getting some pretty steady business. This is just gonna put that in the ground. And that was another avenue to try to make these shows more profitable and attract new people and kind of build something. And on that note, I want to express my sympathies. One of the things that made comparisons a bit challenging for Inside Games is that this year we were able to switch into doing daily production, which is super fun. And that was entirely because our editor Shuklin had approached us and wanted to invest more time and effort into the channel. And for a while it was working as YouTube is supposed to. We were uploading more regularly. I think we've been getting better and better. Certainly Shuklin has just been killing it with the edits and thumbnails. And it's just so it's demotivating to the point of like, given that we all share in the channel and its growth, it may get to the point where people have to find other work, and it's just like not viable anymore. So I don't know how much longer I don't know how much longer we can cruise through this, unless something shifts back the other way, or we start seeing some signs that the trends are going to reverse. Yeah, it's a bad situation. After going through all that, I don't know that we're here to shame anyone for using an ad blocker. I guess that'd be easy to do. But we also don't necessarily have conclusive data that is the cause, and maybe even some data suggesting that even if you are an ad blocked viewer, it did help somehow. But this sucks bad, is our conclusion. Like I said, our editor Shuklin volunteered a lot of time to get this show daily, and I've certainly enjoyed producing it daily, and it was working for a while. It was just awful to have to tell him what our take was last month, especially after all the time and effort being put in. So I don't know, if it were just the views, we could get over it, I guess, and continue operating, but the revenue drop-off is really bad. And it also seems like our reach has been cut off, our growth has been cut off, and this completely tanks our ability to sell direct placement ads at a decent rate. So the game media business was never good, never great, unless you just like really hammer the drama angle over and over again and start beef all the time. But it just got a whole lot worse, man. Just trying to put the news out there with a level head and talk about the games. We just got buried. Like, we get buried by YouTube drama all the time, and that's just something we deal with, choosing to make the show the way we do. But now that the whole system is kind of turned against us, it sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah, Lawrence, I don't like to come to the audience with hat in hand and do all that, like, hey, subscribe to our Patreon. Like, that. I've never done that. I would much rather you guys discover this content organically and be like, oh, I like this, and then stick around, and then if you want to support it. And if you don't, great, whatever. I'm totally fine with whatever you want to do, because it's your money. You earned it, and you can do whatever you want with it. I wanted to talk about this only because it is an epidemic. This is happening across all of YouTube. This isn't just our channel, and it's affecting every channel a little bit differently, it seems like. we have gotten the disproportionate, really, tough end of the stick on this one, because I did not expect our revenue to drop as much as it did. That was something that I saw our views drop, and I was like, well, maybe YouTube will figure it out with revenue. We should be all right. That is not the case. So like Lawrence has said 1,000 times, and I'll say it again, when views drop like that, when they drop 50%, and then also YouTube revenue drops, we can't make up the sales with direct ads, because direct ads usually ask for a certain amount of views on a video. Usually they'll be like, hey, we need you to hit 50K views and we can sell it for whatever rate. If the views lower by 50% or whatever, then they just stop sending emails to us. They just won't even try and put business into our hands. I've already seen a couple of times where people have been like, well, maybe we should renegotiate. Like, I've seen those emails, and I'm like, that is scary. And that's happened in the last 30 days. And that's really bad for us too. So all of it is bad. There is no silver lining to this. It sort of hamstrings, I want to say hamstrings 6 months of work that we put into this channel for daily uploads, but 4 years ago. We've been doing this channel for almost 4 years, or maybe more than 4 years. I don't even know. At this point, it's just like we work so hard, and usually on YouTube, if you do a good job and you upload a lot, generally you find growth. That's how you do it. We've been doing it a long time, and this is not that. There is a very severe drop off that I think YouTube needs to look into. I have some weird theories, Lawrence. One of my weird theories is a couple of months ago, YouTube said, hey, you don't need to worry about demonetization anymore. We're not going to demonetize nearly as much as we used to, because they used to demonetize if you said the word shit in the first 7 seconds or whatever of a video, because they didn't want the ads that they sold on other videos to have the word shit next to a coffee ad or something. They stopped that. YouTube said, hey, you know what? We're going to be a little more loose with our demonetization. This was around the time that all of these other things like drop-offs and things like that started to happen. So now I'm like, are they demonetizing less, but then also selling less ads and de-recommending our videos more? So then that way, whatever, brand safe ads for Coca-Cola or whatever, they can sell those on videos that are, kids opening toys and not us cursing about video games. Maybe? Again, this is all a theory. I don't actually know. This sort of goes hand in hand with the ad blocker thing, and who knows, the restricted mode. We're all grasping at straws. We don't know. Nobody really knows. The ad block thing seems like a really good theory, but nobody has any evidence, and until YouTube actually confirms it, we won't know. So this is a bad time for us.
Yeah, very scary times. I deeply enjoy making this content. I'm going to try to find a way to continue doing so. But the dark clouds on the horizon, that's for sure. Hopefully we don't have to step back or change the way we produce, but we may have to. If you would like the show to continue the way it is, there's a lot of things you can do. Disabling an ad blocker would help. To Bruce's point, yeah, we would like the content to mostly speak for itself and find new audiences on its own. But if you like the show, consider recommending it to a friend, posting about it on the internet. That would help a lot, because it seems like we're just not reaching the people we used to. And we do have a Patreon, as Bruce alluded to, and that helps keep the engine running a little bit. It's mostly free, by the way. It's not, if you go there, it's not just a ton of paywalled stuff, because again, we like to be as open as we can. We want people to see what we work on. So yeah, it's basically just a free list of all the episodes we do, plus a daily Lawrence Dank meme that I post with every single episode. So you get your best image of the day, plus the list of all of our content, and you can decide to support if you want. But mostly we just want to talk about and share games with people, and this makes it so much harder. So thank you genuinely, you whoever's watching this, thank you for choosing to watch this video and hearing us out. And thank you sarcastically, this is a thank you Obama to YouTube for just throwing dirt on us and not telling us why. But that's life as a creator, I guess.